Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey in our WCBI First Alert Weather Center. We're here to talk a little bit about what Harvey did to our area. That is the remnants of that storm. This is a look at our high-res water vapor Thursday into Friday morning as the center of circulation of what was Hurricane Harvey made its way through. No longer anything tropical, but it did bring its share of rain, wind, and thunderstorms into the Twin States region. Here's our Doppler radar starting Thursday morning through the afternoon, seeing those showers and storms lift on through. We finally got clear by Friday morning, leaving us with a sunshine-filled Labor Day weekend, something I know all of us have been looking forward to, as we had clouds for much of the week before we got this rain and those storms in our area. Let's go ahead and look at some of the 24-hour rainfall estimates. This will start Thursday morning early through Friday morning when the rain finally lifted out. Here we can see in Pickens County, Doppler radar estimating 2.5 inches with some of those heavier showers that moved through. Most places saw at least 1/4 of an inch. The heavier amounts, though, along I-22 towards the Tennessee border. Here, 4.2 inches estimated northwest of Boonville, another 2.5 inches there south of Memphis near Batesville, as some of those heavier showers and storms rolled on through. In addition to the flooding rain, we also had the severe weather reports. This is looking at our storm reports from Wednesday and on Thursday. Wednesday, South Mississippi got their share of it. We had those reports of tornadoes here in Gulfport, Biloxi, as well as one that went through downtown Petal near Hattiesburg. Thursday, then, the northern half of the area got those. That includes us. We had reports of tornadoes in Lee County, Itawamba County, as well as in Pickens and Fayette counties. Other storms produced some wind damage off in the Birmingham and Huntsville area through Thursday night into early Friday morning. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk a little bit about these showers that moved on through. They did not look that impressive, but we had quite a bit of rotation with them. Something that looks like this gave us our first tornado warning of the day for Noxubee and Winston counties, carrying off into South Oktibbeha County here, but it dissipated before it reached the Golden Triangle US 82 corridor. By 11:15, though, we were talking tornado warnings up in far northeast Mississippi. Most of these cells here had a tornado warn polygon with it, and with that rotation with them helps to produce at least one, if not more, tornadoes. Those surveys still being conducted as of Friday afternoon. We also look at all that heavy rain that came through with that. Let's go ahead and look at specific here at our wind velocity. This is what we use to help detect those tornadic circulations here. In particular, we saw things just like this north of New Albany, where the brighter reds next to the darker colors helped us to indicate some sort of rotation near the surface. And that's why we had all of those tornado warnings Thursday through the day, starting in the morning, through the afternoon and evening hours. We really relied heavily on this product to detect those. In particular, a couple of the stronger cells here started near Manhatchee as well as in Tupelo, lifting off to the north towards Boonville. There was some damage reported in those areas. This cell in Tupelo, notice that hook structure that appears as it lifts off to the north of Tupelo by 1:15 p.m. towards Barnes Crossing. Really an impressive storm there. You can see even just a little bit of that circulation as it carried along US 45 towards Allison Hills up into the Beach Springs area. And in fact, we had our own Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson, as well as meteorologist Alex Puckett in the studio. They were watching the Tupelo Skycam when the tornado first touched down. Let's go to them and hear what they had to say when all of it was happening.
Rotation that we're watching right now, moving right through downtown Tupelo. So if you are watching us in downtown Tupelo, get in your tornado safe place immediately.
From downtown Tupelo, and you can see how low some of those cloud bases are here. Again, it's 111. You are now under a tornado warning here in Tupelo. And
obviously something interesting going on. It looks like we've got some rotation there.
Yeah.
Actually,
there it is. I think
we got a tornado right now on the tower camp.
Live view from downtown Tupelo. It looks like we do have some low-level circulation there that is trying to reach the ground. If it hasn't done so already, that is definitely some sort of funnel cloud in progress.
Other viewers sent us pictures in from these tornadic showers, as we might call them. This one came from Monique along Interstate 22 near Blue Springs. This lowering here had some rotation in there. She snapped that photo and sent it to us on Facebook. Also got to watch some damage reports that came out from the cell just to the east of Tupelo. Here's Kirkville. Some damage was reported right to the west of town there. We can zoom in on our radar here showing, here's some of those velocity couplets showing up there, those light greens and those reds next to each other, giving us the indication that there was rotation. We can use our correlation coefficient, however, to detect if a tornado is in fact on the ground. When we see these bright blues and purples appear amongst the reds, that helps us to indicate that there's debris being lofted into the air. And that's exactly what we saw here to the west side of Kirkville. We sent our own Quentin Smith there. He was near Kirkville looking at some of that damage. Let's turn it over to him now as he tells us what he saw.
Pieces of a roof hanging from a wire, toppled trees, and scattered debris are all damaged his community and destroyed his business.
You know, everything we worked for 7 years was gone in about 30 seconds.
Lindsay says there were 7 people inside the shop getting ready to leave and go home right as the tornado was about to touch down.
Another product we have here at WCBI is our wind shear swath. We can use this to detect rotation as it moves through areas. You see when we get these reds, that's when we start to become concerned for some stronger rotation. One here, this one is to the west of Kirkville heading towards Marietta and eventually Boonville. The other one here over Tupelo gave us the idea that those rotations were in fact strong enough to produce those tornadoes as they did. Now things continued through the afternoon in northeast Mississippi. We did wind things down just a little bit at 3 p.m., but things then quickly got active again, this time in West Alabama. Notice this right here. This looks like one of those more classic supercell structures, and really most of these storms we had to keep our eyes on from Columbus into Pickens County, Lamar, and Fayette counties as they lifted off to the north and to the east. And we kept our eyes on them through about the 5 o'clock newscast. Just before is when we finally broke away from that extended coverage. Here's some of those viewer pictures. One of those tornado warned cells was here in Columbus. This picture came in from Donnie near Caledonia. Another picture here coming from New Hope. Parker sent that in. This is that mesocyclone, that area of rotation there, showing up quite nicely in the foreground. Parker caught that. But the real story was over in West Alabama. We watched this cell here first near Carrollton when it first became tornado warned. As it lifted off to the north and to the east there, you can see the classic supercell structure that it had. That tornado touching down first near the Reform area. Here's that classic hook we always look for there. As it continued to the north there, this here near Palmetto, really a very classic supercell looking storm there. This was the best looking storm of the day, producing that tornado all the way through the Fayette area. Again, that really well-defined hook there along Alabama 96 near Belk to the south and west of Fayette. And that continued off to the north and north of Fayette there towards parts of southern Marion County. That tornado finally dissipating near US 43 north of Fayette as it continued to lift off to the north. Looking at some of our wind velocity here, we can see those greens and those reds coming together here, carrying into the Fayette area. This was the most consistent rotation that we had all night, all day long on Thursday. That rotation finally starting to break apart a little bit near Stewart and Bobo, where that tornado likely dissipated. And again, correlation coefficient picked up on this very well. Notice here right to the west of Reform, this bright blue that pops up, that's the debris being lofted, trees, pieces of buildings and structures, power lines, other things like that being lofted high into the atmosphere. And it stuck around here coming into the Palmetto area quite a bit. There's a little bit of clutter that is in there, but it still comes nicely again right as we get into the Fayette. There it is right there to the north and west of Fayette. It passed near the Country Club to the west of the Walmart on the north side of Fayette. And it lifted then to the north towards US 43 before finally starting to fizzle out when the debris was no longer being lofted, that tornado no longer on the ground. The wind shear swaths were most impressive here. We had that one tornadic cell near Columbus up into far northeastern Lowndes County. But here's that first supercell from Aliceville all the way to Fayette, Reform areas. Another one did spawn just to the east of that, but no tornadoes were reported with that. We got a lot of viewer pictures from that particular storm. This one came from Mike and David. Here's US 82 looking off to the west towards Reform. There's the tornado right there. Almost looks like a wedge tornado, more of a springtime than a tropical system. Elena caught this as well north of Reform as it was heading towards the Palmetto community. And here's a video that came in from Lisa and Mark Bonner in Pickens County of that storm. You can see the rotation here wrapping around as that tornado churned through fields, moved through forests, damaged houses, and destroyed outbuildings. This was a rather strong tornado and it lasted for quite a bit of time. Continued up to the north. Here's near Palmetto. This is one of those houses that was hit. The outbuildings are destroyed, and in the background, there's that tornado right there as it continued to head towards the Fayette community. Palmetto experienced quite a bit of damage. This was the Palmetto Fire Department. They had to put tarps up to cover the holes in their buildings. This here was a mobile home. 5 people were inside at the time. They all survived, but the mobile home was destroyed. Seeing all of that debris lofted and thrown across the yard there, simply nothing left of that home. As the tornado continued to lift to the north, this is looking west of Fayette off in the distance. We can see right there a very large tornado as it moved off to the north. Seeing other viewer photos coming in of that. Liz sent in this picture of some of the damage that occurred on Highway 96, trees blocking the road. Both Highway 96 and Highway 18 were shut down for some time, as well as many side roads as crews had to clear debris from the area. This here, the police are blocking the road, looking at some of that damage on the west side of Fayette near the Country Club. Really, they had to bring in some heavy equipment to move things because there was quite a considerable amount of tree damage here. Even in the background here, look at, there's a house that tree landed on there. It damaged it fairly significantly. Lots of damage all across Pickens, extreme far southeastern Lamar, and Fayette counties from this particular storm. Let's look at all those severe weather watches and warnings there. We can see all of the red boxes are tornado warning polygons. The yellow are severe thunderstorm warnings. The greens flash flood warnings. Most of them occurred in the Tupelo area, but we had a few in West Alabama. And then the good news is once this was all said and done, Janet and Chris caught this in New Hope looking at a rainbow. A nice refreshing end to that severe threat, getting a nice view there. And we also got a little bit of the rain that moved on through. Here we can see the radar showing those showers dissipating by Thursday night. However, if you were outside at all Thursday evening into the overnight hours, there was quite a bit of wind that did occur with these showers here. This is our wind speed showing starting from Thursday at noon. As we lift this to the forward here, gusts started to approach Thursday afternoon, evening late, 30 to 40 miles an hour, sustained winds 20 to 30 as that circulation finally lifted off to the north into the east. By Friday during the day, we were back to much calmer conditions. And that's a little bit about what Harvey had in our area. If you want to see more photos and pictures, you can check out my social media at Jacob Dickey WX on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. I've got photos from out in the field, as well as some stories and viewer reports that came in. You can also connect with WCBI Weather here at WCBI Weather. Send us emails of your photos, post your pictures of anything that you see in your neighborhood. We love to see those, and we would love to connect with you on social media.